football club Dynamo Kyiv is a Ukrainian professional football club based in Kiev. Founded in 1927 as part of the Soviet Dynamo Sports Society, the club currently plays in the Ukrainian Premier League, and has never been relegated to a lower division. Their home is the 70,050 capacity Olimpiyskiy National Sports Complex. It is by far Ukraine's most popular football club. Since 1936, Dynamo has spent its entire history in the top league of Soviet and later Ukrainian football. Its most successful periods are associated with Valeriy Lobanovskyi, who coached the team during 3 stints, leading them to numerous domestic and European titles. Dynamo Kyiv became the only Soviet club outside of Moscow that managed to overcome the total hegemony of the Moscow-based clubs in the Soviet top league. The Spartak Moscow, Dynamo Kyiv became the most exciting football rivalry in the Soviet Union that almost completely eclipsed the Moscow's derby Spartak Dynamo. Since late 1960s, the club almost annually participates at the UEFA continental competitions. Over the history, Dynamo Kyiv has won 26 national titles, 18 national cup competitions, and 3 continental titles. Along with FC Dynamo Tbilisi, they were the only 2 Soviet clubs that succeeded in the UEFA competitions. The first team of Dynamo became a base team for the Soviet Union national football team in 1970-80s and the Ukraine national football team in 1990-2000. The 2 stars on the club's crest each signify 10 domestic titles the club has won. History overview, early history. On May 13, 1927, the statute of the Kievan Proletarian Sports Society Dynamo was officially registered by the Special Commission in Affairs of Public Organizations and Unions of the Kiev district. The All-Union Sports Society of Dynamo itself was just earlier formed in 1923 on the initiative of the Felix Dzerzhinsky. Under the banner of Dynamo gathered the representatives of the GPU, the best footballers of which defended the honors of the trade union club Soviet Dynamo. However, the leadership of Dynamo did not dare to reorganize the well-established club and the main title contender in the middle of a playing season, and therefore the first mentioning about the football club Dynamo could only be found on April 5, 1928 in the Russian-language newspaper Вечерний Kiev. It was then when, by the initiative of Semen Zapadny, chief of the Kiev GPU, the football team was created. His deputy, Serhiy Barminsky, started to form the team not only out of regular Chekists, but also footballers of other clubs in the city. All the footballers were either part of the consolidated city team or the city champions. The newly created team played its first official game on July 1, 1928 against a local consolidated city team while visiting Valeriy. Already on the 5th minute the Dynamo men opened the score in the game, however at the end the club lost it 1-2. On July 15 the Valeriy newspaper Radyanska Niva put it in such words, "Your next match played by Dynamo was on July 17, 1928 against another Dynamo from the port city of Odessa." As the club gained more experience and played on a regular basis, it started to fill the stadium with spectators, with both the club and football in general gaining popularity in Soviet Ukraine. Soviet era. During the Soviet era, the club was one of the main rivals, and often the only rival, to football clubs from Moscow. Its ability to challenge the dominance of the Moscow clubs in Soviet football, and frequently defeat them to win the Soviet championship, was a matter of national pride for Ukraine. Leaders of the Ukrainian SSR unofficially regarded the club as their national team and provided it with generous support, making Dynamo a professional team of international importance. In 1936 the first Soviet championship was played, and Dynamo Kyiv was one of the pioneers of the newly formed league. The club's early successes were however limited to a second-place finish in 1936 and third place in 1937. In the 1941 season, the club only played 9 matches, as World War II interrupted league play. The death match. The story is often told of how the Dynamo team, playing as Start, City of Kiev All-Stars, was executed by a firing squad in the summer of 1942 for defeating an all-star team from the German armed forces by 5-1. The actual story, as recounted by Wykstzev, is considerably more complex. This match has subsequently become known as the Death Match. After the Nazi occupation of Ukraine began, several members of the Dynamo team found employment in the city's Bakery No. 3, and continued to play amateur football. During Kiev's occupation, the team was spotted by the Germans and were invited to play against an army team. The team played under the name of Start, comprising 8 players from Dynamo Kyiv and 3 players from Lokomotiv Kiev. In July and August 1942, Start played a series of matches against the Germans and their allies. On July 12 the German army team was defeated. A stronger army team was selected for the next match on July 17, which Start defeated 6-0. On July 19 Start defeated the Hungarian team MSG Wall by 5-1. The Hungarians proposed a return match, held on July 26, but were defeated again 3-2. Start's streak was noticed and a match was announced for August 6 against a most powerful undefeated German Luftwaffe Flakil team, but despite the game being talked up by the newspapers, they failed to report the 5-1 result. On August 9 Start played a friendly against Flakilf and again defeated them. The team defeated Ruck 8-0 on August 16, and afterwards, some of Start's players were arrested by the Gestapo, tortured Nikolai Korotkik dying under torture and sent to the nearby labor camp at Sirets. There is speculation that the players were arrested due to the intrigues of Georgy Shvtsov, founder and trainer of the Ruck team, as the arrests were made in a couple of days after Start defeated Ruck. In February 1943, following an attack by partisans or a conflict of the prisoners and administration, 1/3 of the prisoners at Sirets were killed in reprisal, including Ivan Kuzmenko, Alexei Klimenko, and the goalkeeper Nikolai Trusovic. 3 of the other players, Makar Honkarenko, Vitor Tyachev and Mikhail Sviridovsky, who were in a work squad in the city that day, were arrested a few days later or, according to other sources, escaped and hid in the city until it was liberated. The story inspired 3 films, the 1961 Hungarian film drama 2 Half-Times in Hell, the 1981 American film Escape to Victory and the 2012 Russian film Match. Recent years, in 1989 the club transitioned into an independent company being disassociated from the Ukrainian Republican Society of Dynamo. During the last seasons of the Soviet Top League, it competed in the national colors of Ukraine as part of the national movement that grew very popular. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the club became a member of the newly formed Ukrainian Premier League. However, already in summer of 1993 the club appeared in its first crisis as the economic policy of Dynamo president Viktor Bzwicki set Dynamo on the path to bankruptcy. On July 19, 1993 an extraordinary assembly of coaches and players fired Viktor Bzwicki and established a stock society football club Dynamo. The president of the newly formed company was elected Hoye Serkis. The Republican and city councils of the Dynamo Society agreed to hand over to FC Dynamo Kyiv 2 training centers and the Dynamo Stadium. The founders besides the football team and the Dynamo councils became also the commercial consulting center Slavutic, and the British firm Newport Management. Also there was created a review board consisting of directors of the Ukrainian Ministry of Interior, Security Service of Ukraine, Border Troops and General Prosecutor. Dynamo's status as the country's principal club did not change however with the above-mentioned events as they went on to dominate domestic competitions, winning or being runner-up in every year of the Premier League's existence and becoming a fixture in the UEFA Champions League. Its main rival in Ukraine is Shakhtar Donetsk, a team from the Donbas region, that came second to Dynamo several times before winning its first Premier League in 2002. The matches between these two sides are called the Ukrainian Derby. In 2007, as a part of club's 80th anniversary 2 gold stars were added to the top of the crest, representing 10 Ukrainian championship titles and 10 USSR champion titles. Due to club's poor performance in the UEFA Champions League during the last 2 seasons, Dynamo's management took a somewhat unexpected decision by appointing the first foreign manager in the club's history. Previously, only former players or Dynamo Football Academy graduates became managers, but in December 2007 Russian coach Yuri Semin was invited to become the new manager of Dynamo Kyiv. However, the club yielded to Shakhtar Donetsk in both the Ukrainian Cup and Ukrainian Premier League in 2008. In 2009, in the club's most successful European campaign since 1999, it reached the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup but was defeated at that stage by Shakhtar Donetsk. However, 2009 also brought success as the club celebrated its 13th Ukrainian Premier League title. In a season which contained their record win, a 9-0 victory over FC Ilichivets Mariupol, club only managed to finish runners-up in the league in 2010-11, after FC Shakhtar Donetsk. In what would be icon Andrei Shevchenko's final season at the club also finished runners-up in 2011-12. In April 2013, it was announced the club would be forced to play 2 European ties behind closed doors due to racism from fans during previous European ties. Achievements: Dynamo Kyiv has participated in all of the USSR and Ukrainian championships to date, and has won both competitions more times than any other team. The club's best performances were in the 1970s and 1980s, a time at which the Soviet Union national football team was composed mostly of players from the club. Dynamo Kyiv also tied the national record for winning 3 consecutive Soviet Premier League titles in 1966, 1967, and 1968. Dynamo Kyiv won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in 1975 and 1986 as well as the European Super Cup in 1975, after 2 games against Bayern Munich. In 1977, 1987, and 1999, the club reached the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. These victories are associated with the name of Valeriy Lobanovskyi, who played for the club in the 1960s and later became the club's long-term head coach. In 2009 the club reached the semi-final of UEFA Cup. Dynamo striker Oleh Blokhin is the Soviet Premier League's all-time top scorer with 211 goals, and has also made more appearances than any other player in the championship's history with 432. Colors: Dynamo's traditional colors are white and dark blue, with white being the predominant color. Throughout their history the club has usually played in a white shirt and blue shorts, until 1961 when a blue sash was briefly added to the kit. Although it was removed soon afterwards, in 2004 the club's management decided to restore the famous sash as a talisman. It was added to the away kit and remained there until the beginning of the 2008-09 season, when it was replaced by a white kit with a shirt having thin blue vertical stripes, the first time in over 50 years that a club has worn such a pattern. During the last 2 seasons before the breakup of the Soviet Union, Dynamo's kit was similar to Metalist, yellow shirts and blue shorts. That kit at the time carried a symbolical meaning, representing the national colors of the yet not adopted Ukraine national flag. In the 1990 Soviet Cup final the yellow-blue Dynamo team thrashed the all-red Lokomotiv 6-1 at Luzhniki Stadium. Recently, in the early years of Ukrainian independence, the club swapped their yellow color for white. However, blue remained one of Dynamo's colors and is still a main color of the club's away kit. The club's current sponsors, Adidas and Ukrainian bank Narodna Bank, feature on the team shirt, the former also being the manufacturer of the kit. Crest: Dynamo's first logo which featured on their shirts in 1927 was a signature blue TH in a vertical rhombus. Over the years, the club's logo has undergone many changes and replacements, but the signature D has remained ever since. In 2003 after Dynamo won their 10th domestic trophy, a golden star was added at the top of the logo to celebrate club's success. The second star was added to the logo in 2007 during celebrations of Dynamo's 80th anniversary. Although Dynamo won only 13 Ukrainian League titles, their 13 titles as USSR champions were taken into account. Honors: Stadiums. The club's home ground, Valeriy Lobanovskyi Dynamo Stadium, is situated in a picturesque park located in the center of the city, close to the Dnieper River bank. The stadium held 16,873 spectators, and has been the club's home ever since 1934. When it was built the stadium's capacity was 23,000. After being destroyed in 1941 during World War II, It was rebuilt in 1954. By the end of the 20th century, the stadium was reconstructed once more, now becoming a football-only venue, and having individual seats installed, which reduced the capacity down to its present one. In 2002, after the sudden death of Dynamo's longtime player and coach Valeriy Lobanovskyi, the stadium was renamed in his honor. After NSK Olimpiyskiy was closed for reconstruction in 2008, Dynamo also began to play its European games at the Lobanovskyi Stadium. Due to a high demand for European fixtures of the club throughout its European history, Dynamo played a majority of their home fixtures at Kiev's and Ukraine's largest stadium, the Olimpiyskiy National Sports Complex, historically dubbed the Republican Stadium, which held 83,450 spectators. The stadium has been the home of the Ukrainian Cup final since its inaugural game in 1992 and up until 2007. The stadium was closed for a major reconstruction in 2008, after Ukraine and Poland were chosen to host the UEFA Euro 2012. The Olimpiyskiy will be Kiev's main venue as well as the stadium to host the final. It will also become a new UEFA elite-rated stadiums. The team also has a modern equipped training base in the Kiev suburb of Kyiv. The club maintains its own football school for children and youths, also situated in Kiev. Junior Dynamo teams are colloquially known as Dynamo 2 and Dynamo 3. Its reserves team called Double and both Ukrainian and Russian participates in the National Reserves Tournament, where doubles of all 16 Via Liga teams compete. Many notable Dynamo Kyiv players progress through the club's youth system, among them is Andriy Shevchenko, one of the graduates of the school. Football kits and sponsors, players, current squad, as of August 24, 2014, note, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan, note, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Retired number, S. 12 are Euro club supporters, notable managers. In the Ukrainian Championship, the following managers have all won at least one trophy when in charge of Dynamo Kyiv, League and Cup history. Soviet Union. Ukraine. European campaigns. UEFA Team Ranking 2013, last update, 2013, source, XS4ALL, player records. Top goal scorers, as of June 30, 2013, other Euro National Super Cup, most appearances, as of July 27, 2014, other Euro National Super Cup, see also, FC Dynamo 2 Kyiv, FC Dynamo 3 Kyiv, references. External links, official website.